Hi guys, today I want to talk about how to set up your Facebook events so that they perform optimally. This question came up when I gave a speech locally and I just wanted to address it with some more specifics. So one thing we want to keep in mind, the first thing of the three things that I want to share, the first thing we want to keep in mind is that when you're doing Facebook, really all you're doing is taking what works offline and bringing it online. It's not recreating the wheel. So what I have seen in terms of running events and contests, which are sometimes tied, is that if it doesn't work well, it tends to be due to the structure of the event. It doesn't tend to be because of Facebook. So let me give an example. Most recently, I ran a event / contest where a restaurant pub was giving away a boat and a bunch of beer. So it performed very well online, and I'm sure it brought a lot of people in for the drawing to win the prize the night of. So what I want to address here is that there's specific things that worked well there. And I've unfortunately had a contest that didn't work well, and I definitely see the difference in what was going on in those two campaigns. Okay, so first of all, with the example that I gave, you can see that that's a very interesting and attractive prize, right? So it was a relevant prize for the audience. So that's something to keep in mind. It's sort of interesting on its own. It's fun. It's exciting. That's very important. And then another important thing is timing. So if you're trying to do some kind of promotion or some kind of contest and you're sort of late in the game, it's just not going to perform as well, right? So this giving away a boat is moving into spring for these people. So naturally, there's a natural win there. It's not like you're promoting giving away a boat before winter, okay, which is less ideal. And then another important thing is it a great deal, right? Is it, a lot of times you're giving away something free, so that's cool. I mean, if you're giving away something small that's free, that's just not as exciting, right? So that's one thing. But another thing is, say you're giving away something big, you need to, even though you're giving away something big, it's really not a one and done deal. Okay, so and I think this is something maybe people forget, but you, as the marketer, you have to lead people down the path to where you want them to go. You can't just say, hey, this is great, and then count on them as adults to follow through, because they're not, because they're constantly inundated with things online in their own busy lives. So there needs to be online support. So of course this restaurant had a big display, and then there was nurturing. So a lot of times maybe so the nurturing that they did was that there were many reminders, like posts, hey, don't forget about this, and show up, and the day of, like, hey, we're drawing it tonight and you got to be there, sort of thing. So, and if you don't want to pay for that to send those posts out, because that's another thing under this point with structuring, how to structure it. You want to send follow-up emails. You have to nurture them and remind them, so you make it impossible for them to forget you. Okay, so that's how that's going to work. And if you don't want to do that by repeated posts that are supported by money, then you can take them offline and do it via email. And then probably something else to mention under this is, in terms of structured right, is put the money behind it. You have to if you're going to want to support it on Facebook, you have to put a good amount of money behind it, right? So this group already had a very active page. Okay, people are already engaging with them, so they didn't have to put as much money behind it. If you have a less active page, then you're going to have put more money behind it. So, and I'll even get down to some details, but that's my point number 2, is that it helps a lot if your page is working. So if you're going to use Facebook to promote your event, it helps a lot if you already have a warm audience, right? You already have a group of people that knows you. A lot of time that's in your email, but if you want to use Facebook as a way to promote the event, then hopefully you're already cultivating this Facebook audience. You have an engaged group there. So that's the ideal way to do it if you're going to promote an event on Facebook, is already be running your page and have a warm audience there. And so then what I'm saying is, for example, with this group, it only required something like $200, which is not very much money, to promote this event. And they had great engagement, people talking, liking the posts, etc. And I'm sure they had a big turnout because that restaurant always does so well with Facebook ads. So if you don't have an engaged page, then you're going to have to put more money in it. You're going to have to do more money that's higher, like the traditional ad route, which is usually more than $200 to ensure that you're going to get people at an event. And then, so the last thing is, and I'll put a little inset here so you can see, but basically you really want to be careful about how you boost your posts. So I'm assuming people aren't using Ads Manager because it's kind of involved, but I would say if you use Ads Manager, you have more objectives. So I'll show you, there's like 10 objectives, and I would choose engagement. But most small business owners will be using a boost on the page. So when you go to boost, a lot of times it will give you an option at the very top what you want your focus to be. And so what you probably don't want to choose is event responses, okay? Because that's like just going for the gusto right out of the box. Okay? So even with this page that I was talking about that's very successful, it was expensive to go for event responses, and event responses meaning on the Facebook page clicking an RSVP as to what they're doing, right? Because think about it, how committed do you feel to respond to a business's Facebook invitation, right? You don't. It's not your personal friend. You're not gonna. So trying to force that is not, necessarily the best choice. I mean, it can work if you have the money. I suggest trying it first, and we did try it first. But it's just easier to say, well, I'm going to focus my money on engagement, which is people interacting with the ad. Or if your event, instead of having a picture, it has a video, I'm going to go for views. Like, just go for getting it seen. And this is a very common, piece of advice from Facebook marketers, right? They're always like, okay, go for the gusto. And then if you know that doesn't work, then take a step back and then aim for the step before that, and hopefully you can get the same results. So what happened was it was less expensive for us to target people to engage, and we got a lot of engagement, and we got a good turnout. And it's less expensive to target for engagement than to go for the gusto and target for event responses. And it's because what I think the reason is because people don't feel compelled to respond on Facebook to events, right? I mean, we did have a lot of people respond, but the goal should, an easier goal is just, impressions or engagement. Okay, so that was my deep dive in how to set up your Facebook event to have it work for you optimally. I hope you found this helpful. If you have, give it a like and drop me a comment below. Thanks.